to soar, some looking for homes are giving up the chase and turning to new builds instead. I have that story for you later tonight.
Quick look outside with the chill in the air. That wind is blowing. Colette Kennedy will join us with the full forecast later tonight. I'm Chris Ensing. Thanks for joining us. The area's largest employers struck a tentative deal with union leadership, FCA and Unifor, coming to an agreement minutes before that midnight strike deadline. Unifor's national president is promising stability in Windsor and a new production line.
Because we know with this investment, and as vehicles start to roll off the assembly line in 2024, that our third shift will be back. And we expect the total jobs will rise to over 2,000 more in the community of Windsor than exists today.
Let's break this down a little bit here. It's a $1.5 billion investment at the Windsor Assembly Plant. That's according to Unifor. That money is going to be used to build another line, a line that can be used for trucks, cars, SUVs, electric or hybrid. Now, the building of that is going to start in 2023, complete by 2024, and Unifor says FCA will roll a vehicle off that line by 2025. That's what will restart the third shift. You heard him talk about bringing 2,000 jobs back to Windsor. I asked Local 444 President Dave Cassidy what that means for the direct future, and he says that the plant's going to limp along.
They've got to build the infrastructure. He talked about the new platform coming down. So right now, we're building the Pacifica. Unfortunately, the RT was, sundowned back in August and not building that anymore. So we have one product there. We're going to limp along for a little while. It takes time to get a new product in there and get the infrastructure in the facility. But when they say the 2024, the facts of the matter are we are going to be running pilots ahead of that.
And those pilots, just some of the jobs that will be coming through here. But what does it mean for workers right now? The Jason Beal reporter that we have, the rock star that he is outside of the Windsor Assembly Plant right now. You've been talking to workers. How do they feel about this?
Well, Chris, they're quite happy that there's a new investment coming here at the Windsor Assembly Plant. But at the same time, I heard that some are cautiously optimistic, a bit apprehensive about this agreement. That's because it's a 3-year deal, and a big part of that deal, as we just heard, won't come until 2024, so 4 years down the road. And that is a commitment which would allow them to build a plug-in hybrid or a battery electric vehicle here.
It went through it before that they promised that we're going to be doing work, and they pulled back. Like I said, it's only a 3-year deal, and the new model is supposed to come in 2024. Will they say, oh, we're just going to delay it for half a year or 6 months? And that's what I'm worried about.
If there's binding language that says, hey, this is a promise that they intend on keeping, I guess I'm a little less worried. If it's just, yeah, maybe, then, of course we're going to be a little bit more concerned. Right now it sounds like a win. So fingers crossed, right? Myself, I've got 25 years in here, but if they can put food on the table for another generation, electric vehicles, I think, is going to be the way to go.
Now, workers also don't have the full details of this deal just yet for things like signing bonuses, potential wage increases. That's expected to come on Sunday with a local union meeting here to go over all of that and answer some questions that might be outstanding. But the two workers that I did speak with say, bottom line, it seems like a good deal. It is a good deal, they say. And especially when it comes to jobs, 2,000 new jobs by 2024. And that would revive the third shift, which was just eliminated over the summer, taking with it 1,500 jobs from this community.
Jason, with the Windsor Assembly Plant diversifying, moving into what many say is the future of vehicles, what does the battery electric part of that deal mean for our community?
Well, about 95% of a hybrid or a battery electric vehicle that would be built here would be similar or the same in terms of the components that would go into it. It's the 5% that would be different or new, and that's according to Flavio Volpe with the Automotive Parts Manufacturers Association. So he says the current, part suppliers that supply parts here at the Windsor Assembly Plant could, sustain the new investment here. But he also says he's very optimistic that this will happen in 4 years' time, despite the agreement being 3 years.
Once a company starts down that retooling route, and that investment in that product and the announcement there, it's very difficult for them to turn it back. And frankly, the companies, the companies have acted in good faith in these new investments, barring unprecedented surprise and changing in market dynamics. You set down that road, we're going to finish it.
Now, work to get this new investment ready and kind of retooling this plant will happen in 2023, with the union saying mass manufacturing will start in 2024. But this deal still needs to be ratified by the workers here at the Windsor Assembly Plant. Chris.
Thanks for Jason. The CBC's Jason Veal live tonight. Now that ratification vote is expected to happen over the weekend, but big bucks attached to this deal. Once again, $1.5 billion for the Windsor Assembly Plant, based off the deal Ford and Unifor ratified late September. That deal also came with nearly $500 million from the federal and provincial government. Jerry Dias was asked at today's press conference what government support is tied to this deal.
The lion's share of that will be coming from Fiat Chrysler. But there's no question there are conversations happening with both levels of government to assist in the $1.5 billion.
What guarantees do you have that will happen? Is this in the agreement itself, or is this something like a side agreement FCA has agreed to? Or
No, it's written in the collective agreement, $1.35 to $1.5 billion commitment. There's no question. Are we speaking to governments? The answer is yes. Have we spoken to governments? The answer is yes. Do the governments understand the importance of this industry? The answer is also yes, Eric.
A man is dead after being struck by a vehicle in Windsor late last night. It happened in East Windsor at Wyandotte and George. Paramedics found the man injured, took him to hospital where he later died. Police seized the vehicle and questioned the driver of that vehicle. They believe that person may have struck the driver with their car, but no charges have been laid. They're asking anyone with any information to give them a call. The road was closed down for most of the day, but it should be cleared up now. As Windsor's real estate market loses or soars to the highest and hottest in the country, some are giving up on that resale market, turning now to new builds instead. The CBC's Katerina Georgieva looks into why that is.
It's a hot, hot market, and it's only getting hotter. Some people struggling to break in are fed up and looking for other options. Meet Brenda DeBlau. After losing her husband in December, she decided to make the move from Burlington to Windsor, where she's originally from, to be closer to family. But her search for a home soon led to bidding war fatigue.
It caused so much anxiety. You're afraid to even go into it because you know you're not even going to get it. Especially when it was $150,000 overbidding. I just didn't know what to do.
DeBlau is turning to this, a new build in the $450,000 to $500,000 range. Construction on her house has yet to begin, and it won't be ready for months. But for DeBlau, it's worth the wait, and she's not alone.
People are tired of the bidding wars, so what they're doing is if they can afford to wait 6 months to build a home, they're staying with family members, they're staying at their cottage, they're doing all kinds of alternative housing in order to avoid the bidding wars, and because you can build for sometimes cheaper than you can buy right now. Here's the draw, affordability. It's cheaper, but it's not cheap. But when you factor in the cost of renovations that a resale purchase might require, plus the extra that you might pay to survive a bidding war, a new build can mean more bang for your buck. Supply. Housing supply is at an all-time low, so a new build means a new product that you can tailor to your needs. And stability. You get to bypass the bidding wars so you know what you're going to pay without the fight.
I wish we had more new home product out there because it's selling pretty quick right now, and the only problem we're running into now is having developments ready for us to keep selling.
Joe Monteleone has been in the real estate business for more than 30 years. He says new townhomes and condos are the most affordable products today.
You're now starting to see a lot of the young people, first-time buyers, now going into that.
The city of Windsor says it had issued 204 building permits for single-family homes by the end of September of this year. That's up 6% from the same time last year. Ultimately, for many, including DeBlau, it's about finding certainty in an exploding market.
With a new build, you know what you're going to pay, and you get what you want to get. and you're not having all this anxiety and aggravation.
And now she's looking forward to the new chapter this new build affords her.
At my age, I didn't think I'd ever be doing this, but I am looking forward to it.
Katerina Georgieva, CBC News, Windsor.
You can read the full story online. Just head to cbc.ca/Windsor. 36 years after the murder of a 9-year-old Toronto area schoolgirl, police have identified the man that they believe was responsible.
Calvin Hoover of Toronto, Ontario, was 28 years old in 1984. He was known to the Jessup family at the time of Christine's disappearance. He died in 2015.
Police do not say how he died, but say it was not foul play. They say when they spoke with Christine Jessup's father today about their finding, he was sickened by the news. The young girl vanished one day after school in 1984. Her body was found 3 months later. A neighbor, then 24-year-old guy Paul Morin, was wrongfully convicted of the crime and sent to prison. He was released when DNA evidence cleared his name. That same evidence used to identify the genealogy of the suspect, ultimately making the match to Hoover. The province reporting 783 new COVID-19 infections today. To encourage more Ontarios to download the COVID Alert app, the Premier had some help from NBA All-Star former Raptor Jamal McGlure.
Do the following 3 things to keep everybody safe. Wear a mask, social distance, and download the COVID app.
McGlure is helping to get the word out about the app alongside Premier Ford. COVID Alert lets you know if you may have been exposed to the virus. You can also tell app users that you've been nearby if you test positive for that disease. The app doesn't share any personal information. Now, in the midst of what's being called the largest flu immunization campaign in Ontario's history, family doctors say that there aren't yet enough shots to go around. Lauren Pelly looks at why.
On this chilly afternoon in North York, family doctor Elisa Naiman is braving the cold to vaccinate her patients.
We've never had so much demand for people calling for flu shots. People have been calling since the beginning of September to get a flu shot.
With 7,000 patients at her clinic, Naiman needs a lot of doses on hand. But she was only sent 500 in the first round. 150 of those were high-dose shots for seniors, and she's already run out.
It's actually been very frustrating.
Same story for this Ottawa physician.
We received 15 doses of the high-dose flu shot, and in our office, I have 1,400 patients in downtown Ottawa, and I have 185 patients who would meet the criteria for the high dose. So that's anybody over the age of 65.
Pharmacies have also reported early supplies drying up, but
there are no shortages.
Provincial officials say more rounds are coming.
The first shipments went to hospitals, to long-term care homes and retirement homes because we wanted to protect those individuals first because they are vulnerable.
The broader public is also hoping to avoid both COVID and the flu. Data shows during the 29 to 2020 flu season, which overlapped with the start of the pandemic, demand for flu shots rose by more than 20% compared to the year before.
We saw a rather large second bounce that we feel is probably predicting what we're going to see this second wave.
Naiman warns with the demand she's seeing now, the province's rollout is already falling short.
And if this is what we're going to have to do for the future, for when the coronavirus vaccine comes, the government really has to figure out how they can do their distribution better. Thank you.
Lauren Pelly, CBC News, Toronto.
Another look outside here as we await the full forecast from Colette Kennedy. This Japanese amusement park is offering visitors an unusual twist on that notion of working remotely during the pandemic. The theme park package comes with a connected poolside workstation. And for those who want to elevate their game, portable Wi-Fi routers are available on a covered Ferris wheel. A day pass is only $20. And joining us now for a live look at the weather is Colette Kennedy, not from the side of a resort, but if we pool together some funds, maybe we'll convince them to let us out there, eh?
No, sadly not from the side of a resort. But we can talk about how this morning, okay, it wasn't resort-like weather, but it was one of these flip-flop days, right? Where we had the high temperature this morning, 18 degrees. We had that in the wee morning hours, and then the temperature dropping through the day. So we did have that flip-flop, just as was anticipated. And the rain, not so much the situation, again, as anticipated, more so the winds, really strong winds towards midnight last night. We had some of those gusts exceeding 60 kilometers an hour. And then also kind of through the day, some of those sustained winds pretty strong as well. So current temperature, like I say, now we're at 10 and 11. We're seeing tonight that colder air that's going to be pushing in behind this system. And with that, a cold night tonight, but not only tonight, tomorrow night as well. So a couple of cold shots here. So a frost advisory is in place for Sarnia and Lambton, and we could see this for tomorrow as well. So yes, a danger to some of our crops through there. So there's the heavier rains actually out over Lake Erie in terms of what we are seeing here. And that cloud deck, that's still in place here. But look at this. I just wanted to broaden the perspective. You can see what's actually happening here as the jet stream dropping well to the south, and with that trough, it is allowing all this cold air to fall into place. So it's not just over southern Ontario, it's falling way down through the southern plains. So could see lots of records being broken in terms of some record lows with all of that cool air that's moving into place. So not alone in this, I guess, is what I'm saying with the cooler shot of air that moves in. But we get into some clearing, which will bring in some sunshine through here towards Friday evening. So tomorrow night, we could have a few isolated showers. I think most of it is largely actually going to be missing us, moving through our skies and staying towards the north. But through the day on Saturday, we start off with sunshine, but then we are going to be seeing later in the day the increasing cloudiness. So Saturday overnight into Sunday, that next system as it's approaching, it's going to at least give us the cloud cover. We will have a chance for some showers. I put those into our forecast. So we'll see that risk as we go into Sunday. Then I really do see showers in there for Monday, and then a risk as well as we go towards Tuesday. So the cool temperatures you saw for overnight tonight, these are our readings well below seasonal in terms of our daytime highs for you as we go towards Friday. Those winds from the southwest coming in still a little bit breezy at times, but not like they were for today. And then as we look through the weekend, that's late day cloud that's increasing for Saturday then. 14 still a little below seasonal, but certainly close to it. The cloud cover through Sunday with the chance for the showers, but coming up into Monday as that system, sort of the center of it, really works its way through. That's when we get into the rainfall. It's going to bring the temperature down on us a bit. And then Tuesday on the back side of it, still some cloud cover hanging in there. We'll get into clearing late day on Tuesday, but a risk that we're still going to have some wet conditions there. So a couple of gray fall days that are going to be in place there, Chris.
No, a few things for us to keep an eye on. Thanks for this, Colette.
You're welcome.
Now, if you've been popping outside over the last little bit, those patios have been kept warm by little heaters, but some of them are starting to disappear. We've got more on that next. With restaurant dining only allowed outdoors in some parts of the country because of COVID-19, owners are growing increasingly concerned about how their business is going to survive through the fall and through the winter. Outdoor heaters, it's going to certainly help, but they're in short supply. Making it worse, though, seems they're now a target for thieves. Talia Ricci reports.
And then I looked over and they were not there. And then I saw the cut cable.
4 heaters stolen from this Danforth patio.
I mean, they're out in the open, and I know they're a hot commodity, and they probably resell for a lot, because they're so hard to find right now. I know they're in demand.
In a notably polite announcement, the restaurant owner posted on social media saying some very chilly people borrowed our 4 patio heaters without asking.
It was really nice. People responded to it with a lot of heartwarming remarks.
And also offers.
I had the heater in storage and I thought to myself, oh, we don't need this. I should find a restaurant to give it to. But there's so many of them that could use it. And then I saw Dennis's post and it just made perfect sense.
Others have also stepped up to help replace the heaters and offer words of encouragement as the community recognizes how tough things have been for businesses.
Most small businesses are suffering right now. There's a lot of challenges.
Mayor John Tory says the city's doing its best to try to help that.
Destination Toronto, in partnership with the city, launched To Go Toronto, which will help connect people with restaurants offering takeout, delivery, and patio dining. The City of Toronto is extending its partnership with Ritual to launch Open for Business, a collaboration with Ritual and DoorDash to help local businesses across Toronto increase their commission-free online sales.
We are exploring continuing to expand the patio, what that would look like through the winter months.
Cometa is hopeful that people will continue supporting local restaurants even as the snow falls.
Not everyone might be up for it, but if you bundle up, it's fun to meet your friends out for a beer with a toque and a jacket on.
In Dennis's words, they'll have to steal the concrete off the sidewalk to stop them from keeping the patio vibes going. Talia Ricci, CBC News, Toronto.
A First Nations chief involved in the Nova Scotia lobster dispute is calling the RCMP useless. It comes after incidents earlier this week when commercial fishermen raided facilities where Indigenous fishermen store lobster. Police say that they're investigating, but so far, no charges. The CBC's Evan Dyer reports on how the situation is escalating.
Why? I'm allowed to stand where I want.
After 2 nights of property destruction and conflict, the chief of the local Mi'kmaq First Nation says commercial fishermen are being allowed to attack his band members.
They're all walking around believing that they can do whatever they want and get away with it and take the law into their own hands. And I'm starting to believe that's true.
Last night, the Prime Minister tweeted that violence and intimidation are unacceptable. And today, his Minister of Indigenous Services said the same, calling the violence racist. But on the ground in Nova Scotia, the federal government is mostly just absent, says the province.
We don't have any authority over the fishing industry. That's plain and simple. The only aspect that we have is licensing, buying licenses. No matter how much I want to resolve this issue, I don't have any authority to do so. That's why it's critical for the national government to be there.
McNeil says that for 20 years, the federal government has failed to set rules defining what the court meant when it said the Mi'kmaq have the right to a moderate livelihood from the fishery. Commercial fishermen accused the Federal Department of Fisheries of failing to uphold its own conservation rules or to enforce seasonal closures, putting the lobster stock at risk. Asked for Chief Sack, he says he's ready for more trouble.
So we have to take it into our own hands. We will. We have, every day I'm getting messages, should we come? The warriors come out of this province, that province. I'm holding them off to keep everything peaceful. But if there's no protection for us, we're going to have to go with the forces we need to.
With all the pieces in place for more escalation, one thing both sides and the province agree on is that the federal government has been too hands-off and needs to get off the fence. Evan Dyer, CBC News, Ottawa.
It's 6:29 p.m. and that's it for CBC Windsor News. Don't forget, for news anytime, you can go to our website, cbc.ca/Windsor. We have those real estate stories, not just the one from Katarina tonight, but others as well. Diving a little deeper on that subject. We're on social media too. You can check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for CBC Windsor on any of those platforms. You can find us there. We always stream this show live on Facebook and Twitter as well. Power and Politics is up next. We're going to join that already in progress. And that is it for us. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful night.